I'm not going to be.
Good evening, everybody. John Henry Soto here. Welcome to the JHS show. It is Monday. It is 9/28/2020, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And tonight on the show, we have Kingston and Greystarr. I am really, really excited, and I wore even a glitter shirt because I want to welcome all of you to the Glitterverse. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome right here on this. I'm just going to keep everybody in anticipation because I want to keep freaking everybody out because I want to say, oh my God. And I just want to keep annoying people. How's that? How's that for great quality television? All right, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kingston and Greystarr. All right. Thank you so much. So this is as glittery as I could find. I don't know if you can see any glitter on it, but
it's so classy because it's pinstripe but glitter.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's exactly. It's pinstripes and glitter. Yes, thank you. How are you?
We're great. We're good. We're really good. Yeah.
We are really blessed to have these this type of platforms where we can actually connect with all the craziness going on in the world. There are all these beautiful artists like yourselves and others that I've interviewed that are still out there doing it, and that to me is the most impressive. I just spoke to you a minute ago, and you guys, I want to ask you all about this, but first let me see. We have somebody on here. David Guzon is like, woohoo! David. All right. So thank you, David, for tuning in. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. Let's just jump right in and start talking about everything that's going on. You a couple of days ago, you just shot a music video, right? I mean, it's like so crazy that we're opening up and things are happening again, and I love the fact that you're out there doing it. What was that experience like?
Exhausting. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
The people that we had involved are so creative and professional, and we produced the whole thing too. So it's like one minute we're like producer hat, the next minute we're like performing.
Yeah.
It was a very long night.
Very long. We finished at 3:45 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was worth it though.
Yeah.
It was wild. We had to change venue because COVID. So the first place suddenly was like, sorry, there can only be 6 people in here. I was like, cool. Well, our band has
Right.
we have many, so no. So yeah, we had to do a couple of wild, have some wild ideas and say kind of, what if we do this, and or how about if we do this, or maybe what if we ask this person or that person, but pulled it together. It was really, really cool.
Yeah. When you're working on a project like that, how do you I mean, there has to be a point where you have to cut off that, like you said, the producer hat, and then you got to perform, right? Because it's like, and as a director, I know that that's kind of like, it gets a little tricky sometimes, because then you're like, you're performing, but then you're kind of looking at the lights and making sure that the camera is right where it's supposed to be, and then you realize, oh wait, I'm not performing now.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like standing around. How is that experience for you?
I think we had to do a lot of pre-checking. Like we had very intense shot lists and a very intense treatment. We also trusted our film crew, and the lead videographer director is great, and we've worked with him before, so we knew we were in good hands. But also we do checks throughout the night. It's like, hey, Greystarr, let's just go round, make sure everything looks great on this end. Okay, cool. Okay, good. Now we can go back into being performer. That was a series of checks throughout the night.
It's like toggling back and forth between the two the whole night.
Yeah. And when you have a you've worked with the director before, you said, and that's awesome. But when you have like other people involved, right? Because you have to kind of balance other people's personalities and stuff. I mean, you two seem to work really well together. How does that come into play when you have to tell someone, I don't like that?
I feel like, so with us two, we look at each other and we know what we're thinking, and then one of us takes the lead and politely shifts gears so that it doesn't hurt the person's feelings, but then we get back to what we wanted to really do in the first place.
Like, they'll be like the eye, like,
and I'm like, right. So we're gonna go ahead and let's try this way instead, or whatever it is.
Or just like that. We have this very minuscule, like in the Glitterverse language, that just then we help herd the cats if something weird is happening or if it's not going in the direction.
But we are very good at like holding our ground and sticking to like, no, we want this. Even though like people will go like, yeah, but if we do this, then it's like, nope, we want, like, we talked about this for like 3 months now. We want this exact thing. And then, eventually we get our way in the end.
Yeah. And that's interesting. I love that because you said three months that you've been planning that, right? So that means that because I know you mentioned earlier, you both like lists before we went on. We both like to make sure everything, and having a set list, not a set list, having a shot list, is really, really important when you're shooting a music video and you have already the vision of what you want and all those things. Do you both sit down and kind of like come up with that, or is it you both come to the table with ideas and then kind of mesh them together?
We have these really great conversations where we start, and it always starts with like the music and the vision. We're very visual people, and so we see the music and we see what's going on within the music. And then one of us will be like, oh my God, I'm seeing this room filled with blah, and what if this happened? And then the other person be like, and then this thing happens. And we're like, yeah, that's right. Because then what happens is, and like, just like does this.
And then we're like, type it out before we forget. Yeah. And then random texting throughout the day, like, oh my God, I just thought of this other thing, and then add it to the list, and then by the end you have this whole like story being told between the two of us.
That's so great. So let's go back a little bit. How did you two meet? How did this come about?
It all happened. It's like a fairy tale. It's a glitter tale. Would you like to tell the story, Greystarr?
It is a glitter tale.
Once upon a time.
It started 4 years ago?
Yes.
Wow.
Sorry. We just had a realization.
Yeah, you both were like.
Seems like it's been like 25 years or 5 minutes.
Or 2 seconds.
You know what I mean? Like, we've done so much in that time, but also I can't believe that much time has gone by. We started as backup singers for Punky Meadows, who's a famous glam guitarist from the band Angel.
Yeah. Frank Zappa wrote a song about him, literally.
Punky's Whips, about his lips. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I wasn't originally the backup singer. It was Amy and our friend Jessie Wagner, who's amazing. But then she got called to go on tour with Lenny Kravitz.
As you do.
So our circle of friends called me and they're like, do you want to jump in and be backup singer? I hadn't even met Kingston yet. Didn't know each other at all. Wow. So I was like, oh my God, of course I want to do that. So then Kingston, being the perfectionist and wonderful planner that she is, literally recorded on her phone all of my harmony parts.
Because she was asked like 2 days prior to the last rehearsal prior to the gig the day after.
To like jump in and start. I hadn't heard any of these songs before. I didn't know anything about it.
Oh man.
So Kingston, no one asked her to do this. This is just like the pro that she is.
Yeah.
She recorded all of my harmony parts and sent them to me. I hadn't met her yet. And I was just so grateful because I didn't know how else I would have been prepared.
Right.
Like, I hadn't met you yet, but I'm listening to my phone and it's like, hello. I'm sing to you your harmony parts for Tower. So I'm going to go, just a light from the tower. And you're going to go, just a light from the tower. Okay. and then the next part, and then on and on and on. It must have taken you days. I don't know how you did that.
Meanwhile, I'm like, oh my God, this lady is going to think I'm a complete nut. And half of the time, thanks, David G. Half of the time, I'm in my bedroom at midnight. I'm like, okay, so I have to do it like this because it's very late tonight. So we're going to go, just alive from the towers. So the first time I'm meeting her, I'm like, oh gosh, okay, here it comes. Nerd. Okay, yes, I'm a nerd. Yes, I am. Nice to meet you.
And then I walk in, and of course, we're always the only women in the room. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, that must be her. Yeah. Only other girl. And I was like, thank you so much.
And I'm like, okay, phew.
And then we started rehearsing the songs, and all I was hearing in my head was her voice. And I was just like mimicking her. And that's how I got through. And that was literally like one rehearsal and then the show like the next day.
Wow.
And then
we did shows.
And then we did a tour with Punky Meadows, and we became Punky's Angels. Yeah. That's what they called us.
Yeah.
And then we got named Kingston and Greystarr on that tour by Bob Pantella, the drummer of Monster Magnet, who is our very close friend. He was drumming on that tour. And then Kingston and Greystarr was born in Vegas. And then
So when did you decide that did YouTube decide on that tour that you were going to do something separate from being on that tour?
Not yet. I feel like the seeds of like it was obvious that we performed really well together. Mm-hmm. Greystarr had her own band going on with her bunch of fabulous dudes and her. And then it was like a little while later when we merged. We merged. And, and Greystarr's like, do you want to join my band? And I'm like, yes. And then she's like, good. So we're going to turn it into us.
Yep. Yeah. And then we like shifted gears a little bit and became us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a minute to figure out like what is that going to be, you know what I mean? And then once we decided what it was going to be, it kind of just took off from there.
Yeah.
With big branding people, so that was really fun creating us.
Yeah.
I want to actually talk about the branding part also. First, I wanted to talk about the fact that it's so difficult to put something together and to work with someone creating something like a band, for instance, a band situation. It's just so difficult, right? I would think there'd be way more bands if it wasn't for like so much other crap that comes into play, right?
Right.
With you, what advice would you give to like anyone else starting out, either a duo or just a band unit? I have some people that watch the show that I know are watching that are in bands and stuff like that how to kind of like communicate and how to move forward and how to create that vision. And also, if you have two people, cool, but still two people have to have that one vision.
Yeah.
And if you have five people, Lord help you. Maria, Madre de Dios. But so how do you what piece of advice would you give to somebody that's out there and trying to figure that out, like me?
John's band was one of the first bands I ever saw in New York when I moved to New York when I was. So I would say firstly, like we always communicate and
yes, Sean, I'm talking about you.
Hi Sean. Our communication and vision is always aligned. Like we never have to hash things out. Like our visions are very like, we have this vision, we have this concept, and we're going like this. And so it's this lovely aligned forward motion. And then with our guys, with our band, it's all about really solid communication, really good, clear communication, making sure like they know what we're doing, where we're going, how we're doing it. And I feel like kindness, but also there's like a nice balance of like, we know this is our baby and this is the way that we're going. And then we really love and respect our band members. They're all amazing musicians in their own right. And we love working with them, and we're super honored that they're with us.
Yeah. And they are so supportive of us that whatever idea we have, they're like, yeah, cool. What do you need me to do?
There's a lot of
really
trust
cool
in there.
Yeah.
There's trust. And I think that's really important. Like when everyone knows that we're all on the same page and we're all going in that one direction, that makes such a big difference.
Yeah, the trust is a huge thing.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, it's
Hey.
my Mike.
Thank you, Mike, for tuning in. I appreciate it.
You always love those kids. You kids are the greatest. I can't wait to see you kids again.
So yeah, you kids are great. So when you're hashing out, I know you have a good relationship, which is important. But when you're hashing out like songs, the style of music that you're both playing, it seems like it also gels as well, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting because Kingston and Greystarr, we're not exactly the same. Otherwise, that would be so freaking boring.
Right.
We're not. We both have an affinity for the same period and genre of music, and Greystarr brings an edge to it, and I bring an edge to it, and then we combine it. But like that essential vibe is similar, so that it can kind of meld together. And then in terms of the musicians in our band, they all love the music, but again, they all like our bass players a little bit more punk rock, and the guitar players like alternative. Yeah. Like everyone's got their own side, and then it just kind of becomes this. So even when we're playing covers, we're not playing covers. We're playing
our versions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what I love, because I've heard some of the covers, and you guys just make it your own. You know what I mean? It really, really is like your song, and I love that. Let's talk about the branding because you both have really must have sat down or had ideas that coming to the table, but you've created such a great brand with the glitter and it's so sexy, and it's so vibrant. You know what I mean? It's just so cool. How did you guys come up with that?
She started it because in her other band she had this freaking I don't know why I feel like I can't swear right now, even though every other word normally out of my mouth is fuck. So you're sorry, very polite. That just happened. I know, I can't. I got like really Mary Poppins. I'm like, so we had this concept. Don't know where that's coming from. That's like so not me.
We're just hanging out.
Letting it out. Okay.
Yeah, we're just hanging out. Let it out. Hanging out.
So she had this fucking great microphone stand. There was a unicorn, but her unicorn was purple. Her unicorn, she had a purple unicorn, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
That came to me in a dream, by the way.
Of course it did.
Because I woke up like, I need to have a unicorn microphone stand, and then I made it. And then I was like, okay, I have that now. So she had this unicorn stand. I've always loved unicorns and anything like magical and crazy and glittery and sci-fi and fantasy. She had what was the name of your gang when you were a kid? The Purple Unicorns.
Yeah, she had a freaking gang called the Purple Unicorns. Fifth grade. So again,
wow.
Again, it's like that alignment thing. Like we both were like, oh my god, I love you. No, I like unicorns too. Yeah, fucking great. Okay. I never go on stage without glitter. Yeah, nor does she. And we're like, okay, well then how can we just like meld it and fine tune and just pump it up? And then we of course had to name our unicorns and again, like that's the
we added sides. Your unicorn.
We added my unicorn. We decided to make them black.
So now we have like rock and roll
unicorns.
Right. Bowie and Vanity.
Yeah. Which
so
again works.
So you actually made you had a dream. You had a dream about
you say it back, it sounds crazy. I had a dream.
It is a little bit. But
wait a minute. Let me get this straight.
Okay, yeah. So tell us what happened. Yeah.
So yeah, you had a dream of a unicorn.
Yeah. Yes.
And of a unicorn stand, or you just had a dream of a unicorn stand? Oh, you had a dream of a microphone. You go, oh, okay. And then
this was the dream happening.
It's a unicorn mug.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you just got up and you just did it, and there you go. Wow. Okay. Cool. So when you're because branding is like such an important thing now, right? I guess it's always been that way, right? It's since the Beatles had their little skinny ties. That was all branded. That was all thought out. What is it? What is it about what you're doing right now that's exciting to you the most?
I think like we've really created something. Like we've created it from a concept, and we've learned how to do everything with ourselves. Everything ourselves, and with our combined backgrounds of we have in our experiences branding and production and all of these things, and it's kind of been this adventure of okay, so how do we do social media as Kingston and Greystarr? How do we build our brand? How do we build our fan base as Kingston Greystarr?
Right.
How do we do this? And that journey's been really amazing, to the point where we're putting this EP out and we love it so much and we're so excited.
Yeah, the other day I was like, oh my God, we're putting a record out. Okay, we did that. Check.
Right.
Like that moment where you hit like confirm.
Yeah, like approve.
What?
So let's talk about, you said learning how to do it all, doing everything. That seems to be like the artist's only chance nowadays. You have to really learn you have to figure it out, because the labels, they're like the three majors, I guess. There's so much in trouble. There's so much trouble there.
Yeah, not the way to go.
It's just not the way to go. And the artists that are actually being very successful are the ones like you that just figured out that we have to do it all ourselves. And there's no real way that the labels could even compete with that, because they're really, all they're doing is just finding people and then putting out their marketing. But with social media marketing today and all the other things that are out there for an independent artist,
right,
you have almost the same platform. I mean, maybe not to a certain degree in other countries, but to the same degree here in America, for instance, you have the same kind of platform, and maybe possibly in Europe as well. What was the hardest thing for you to learn that you knew you had to?
Oh my God. What are you laughing at? What are you going to say?
Me, like how
the website?
No, the agonizing of like CD production was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Learning,
uploading the stuff for the CD and like not really sure we're doing it right, and like this is gonna print like 1,000 CDs and we don't know if it's gonna
1,000 blanks
order or like have the right anything.
Yeah, it was actually learning a lot of, because
well, thank God we have Keith Roth, by the way.
Yeah,
Keith Roth
is amazing.
He's our savior.
We are actually putting our EP out through his really badass indie label, Mainman Records. And again, it goes completely to what you're saying. It's like, it's a human, artist-driven group that do it, that has distribution. So we get this beautiful group of people with a distribution line, but we're the drivers in the driver's seat. But then it's suddenly like, okay, that means we need to really quickly learn about what happens, because we're so know what happens all the way through to when the record is mastered and you're sent, and then it's like, oh wow, okay, all of these different numbers, you need to learn, okay, what this number is and the barcode and this number and that number, and okay, do I have that number though? Like all of that stuff that happens between when you got the master and you're like, yes, thank you, you delivered us the product of the music, and when you actually get sent the CD, is like this whole life. Right. Which is totally doable, and thank fucking God for Google. And Greystarr, who's on the other line, being like, yoga breaths, Amy.
Take a deep breath in and out through the nose.
Just keep going.
Everything's gonna be fine.
And I'm like, okay, I just need to Google one more thing, just quickly. Okay, yes. Okay, go.
But then you have to hit send, right? And it's
and I'm like, I can't put my finger
down. I have to be on the phone.
Send. Yeah, the whole time.
It's so nerve-wracking.
Co-send. It's like, okay, go.
I mean, we've had to learn how to do everything. Like social media course, like an Instagram like we had a tutor.
Yeah, thank you, Hannah Lee. Thank you, Hannah Lee.
And
yeah, she's great.
Hannah Lee's like, I have this chick, she's amazing, and she introduced us to Ariel Lindsay, who's this Instagram guru.
And there's so many things that you just don't know are a thing. Until you know they're a thing, and then you're like, oh my god, we have to do this.
That's a thing. Okay,
that's a thing. Yeah.
And then you have to learn about ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, boost. What's a boost? What's an ad? And how much should you set per one?
What's a carousel?
What's a carousel? It's like all this stuff that you're like, and that's just like one tiny piece of a huge puzzle.
Yeah. What are the pixels?
Yeah. Luckily, I design, and our keyboard player is an amazing designer. He does a lot of graphic design for Main Man Records. So we were like, this is the vision, Frankie. We want this, and it needs to be like Mad Max. And then we need this font, because he and I are obsessed with fonts, and we have like font love fests. This font was designed in 1975. And I'm like, I want the font that was on the Mad Max Thunderdome poster.
Right. Like but mixed with the missing person.
The missing persons, you know, the stripe on the missing persons.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
So it was a really, it was
wow. So yeah, that's true, because there's all these. You never really realize what that thing is that's needed until you get to that thing.
You're like,
right?
Oh my god!
Like, it's like it's like right on your nose, and you're like, oh, wait a second, this is. No one told me about this thing.
Like 45 steps, and then you're like, oh my god, we have to do like 45 more steps.
Yeah.
Right. Now, but it must feel so. It is. I'm sure that it's so gratifying when you get to that point that you accomplish this thing, and now you're seeing it. You know, it's such a wonderful feeling, because now you not only have the education, which is really the commodity today, is more education than it is anything else, right? What you know how to do is what your value is, right? So now that you have this value, the next time you do it, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, I remember this. And there's a couple of things that you got to be like, oh, yeah, I forgot this, or let me just go. But you already kind of have this comfortable thing. So, you know, why are so many artists fight against this? And I know this from experience, because I've managed artists, and I've had the record label I worked with for a few years. And they were just so completely against like the marketing and the whole part that's, I mean, listen, it's not glamorous, and you know, you guys talking yourselves off ledges all the time is not the fun part, right? But it is the necessary. It is so necessary. Why do you think that so many people, not so many, that's too general, but a lot of artists that I've met just rebel against that whole machine?
Firstly, I want to say to them, it's really, even though it's a little scary, it's really empowering.
Right.
I think that society has been set up to niche people and box people, and it's been like that the whole time, not just in the arts, but anywhere. It's like you go to school, you pick what you're going to do, you learn how to do it, and you do that forever. Now, if that's what you love and that's what you want to do, totally fine. But also, like, nowadays, an artist isn't just someone who stands on a stage and sings. The hat of an artist is much broader. And I feel like saying, guys, that the wider you learn and the more you grow, the more powerful an artist you will be, because then no one can fuck you over.
Right.
Because you know exactly what the process is. You are in control of your full vision. So like, you're not going to like have this amazing vision, create this beautiful product, and then hand it to someone that then's going to not duplicate or understand what you want and create this whole other thing. The more knowledge you have, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And I think, but yeah, it's daunting. It really is. And how many times have we been like, fuck, like so many times. But then you learn, and then the next time, as you were saying, it gets smoother and smoother. And it's not, sometimes that this shit's designed to be scary, and scarier than it actually is.
Right.
Yeah, because then when you get through it, you realize, that big of a deal, but at the time, yeah.
And you know what? If someone is like, dude, I just want to be a guitar player, cool, man.
Right.
But
hire someone.
But also then hire people that you love and trust, or you know will do a good job on your behalf, because someone's going to have to do something on your behalf. It's either you or someone that hopefully that is doing a good job for you.
So I want to ask you about that because and Steve says he wants to hire you guys.
Thanks, Steve.
For what? We do it all.
Wait, glitter, unicorns, CDs,
right. Album cover. What you want us to write a song? Choreography. Unicorn mugs. What?
So I wanted to ask you because if you're hiring someone to see the way I see the industry progressing right now is that the artist now is more responsible for communicating to their audience and to their fan base, right? You can't hire someone to talk to your fan base.
We talk about that all the time.
Yeah, it's
I wouldn't even trust anyone to take over like our Instagram or anything for like they won't know what they won't do the same thing that we would.
Right, exactly, because they're not you. They're not going to put out the things that you're actually that you want, unless you can't even if you say I want this posted out and this posted out, but during the day there may be something that you find interesting that you want to put up yourself. They'll never get that.
No,
they'll never get that. So hiring people to a certain degree you can do, but there is your responsibility as an artist to get your message to your fan base and to make sure that they know that you care about them.
Agreed.
So when you guys are putting together social media campaigns, what's one of the most important thing that you want to get across with the social media campaign or a post?
Especially nowadays where everything is rather grim. Right. We really make it a point of, and not in a flippant way, but not in an ignoring everything way, because things are great shit at the moment in certain areas, but it's giving that there's a lot of power in fun and insouciance and creativity and color and sparkle and life and talking about things that you love and empowering others to be like, do what you love. Like that, I think there's a lot of power in that, and
that's what the Glitterverse is.
Yeah, it's the Glitterverse. It's like Willy Wonka's world of pure imagination. That's right. Exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So sometimes we'll post like, hey, what creative thing are you guys doing this week? Yeah. Like we're like
to engage and
to do a creative thing, or like, like stop watching the news and go paint something. Or, that's right. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I think it was Billy Idol who was asked about, someone told me that. You know who told me this the other day? Christopher the Minister. Did Christopher also see what? He always has a good Billy Idol story. Okay. Christopher the Minister didn't tell me this one. Okay. Frank Sinatra singer told me this one. Oh my God. For my wonderful mother's 90th birthday. It was Rob's mom's 90th birthday. And we had this amazing chat because Rob found this beautiful Frank Sinatra singer to come and serenade her in her garden. She could obviously distance. So he was telling a story about Billy Idol, and that Billy was asked, everyone thought he was just like the figurehead of his brand, but no, he's the writer. He created that brand, and he talked about
the whole
and the
the whole there.
He's like, look at that.
Oh, there you go. She got it.
The power of I'm always like, Grace, do the Billy Idol. Go. Do the Billy.
Yeah.
The power of fun, the power of having fun. There has to be a balance of that in the world, and there is nothing wrong with it. Obviously, if you're ignoring like, hey, there's like a house on fire in your face, having fun would be a bit stupid. But also, we're creative beings. We need to have outlets of fun. Rocking in a crowd and jumping up and down together is fun. It's those wonderful moments in life that carry people through. It's really important, we think.
Yeah, and all through history, really, the artist is the one that has gotten, no matter how grim things were, there was some of the best music made during some of the most grim times of our lives.
Very true.
Totally.
Yeah. So it is the artist that really can rise to the occasion to lift everyone's spirits.
Yeah.
So when do you get I wouldn't imagine. I don't imagine you would, but do you get any pushback by being too positive? I've gotten a little bit of that in the last.
We haven't received a message like that.
Really?
Really.
Cool.
I think our Glitterverse knows what's up.
Yeah.
Like they. Yeah. We're on the same page.
Yeah. Right.
If you're gonna do that, you're probably not part of the Glitterverse.
No, yeah.
Right.
It's wild because like our fan, like we have these like hardcore like metal guys and rockers and 80s rockers and all these people like
commenting with unicorn emojis.
Unicorns and sparkles and like, hey man, I'm so glad I'm in the Glitterverse. Yeah. Sparkle. Like, oh my god.
And it's like fans from the Angel tour.
Yeah.
You know, it's like crazy. It's so funny.
I think people like all secretly just want to be able to let out their inner sparkle. But I've seen that John, with your stuff, and so I
don't understand. What do you mean?
Yeah, I want to punch people in the face when they're like that.
You're like putting a positive message out, and they're like,
no, what? I've gotten. It's not even that. It's not important because but I've been doing this.
Them, so they're gone now, so it's fine.
I've been posting for over 16, 17 years. Usually it's always a positive thing, and I've created pages. Like the I Love Bayonne page that I created here in Bayonne, we got 2,300 people in Bayonne, and it's an active page. So through that, sometimes, but usually private messages, I'll get something from someone that's I don't know. It doesn't even matter. But it never really does matter. I usually just kind of laugh at it and send them because I'm very sarcastic and a bit of a dick. If you push me, I'm gonna be so I can. And they really, and then they just go away.
Yeah.
But because the reason I brought that up is because we're trying right now during some very grim time. Not everything. Things are you could see the light at the end of the tunnel. Things are getting better, but depending on who you talk to, sometimes they're grim. It depends on who it is.
Yeah.
And we're in a real crucial time right now. On the planet, basically, and really is the artist that's really going to motivate everyone. It's always the art. I mean, in my opinion, everything that this whole thing that we're doing right now is art. Your art, the guitar, art. Everything is art in the world. Your mugs, everything is art, and I think it motivates so much. And right now it's needed more than ever. So when you're talking about, posting those things and engaging, I'm always curious to see, are people really doing it, or are people really embracing that idea that things are going to be fine? And yes, things are, but I grew up in the South Bronx, right? So for me, I've seen the worst of humanity in things that I don't even talk about. I moved to New Jersey with my kid, my daughter at the time, and now I have 2 kids, because I didn't want them to see anything like what I saw, right? So for me, it's a completely different viewpoint on being positive. Of course I'm going to be positive. I just freaking made it out through like freaking a really, really bad situation. You know what I mean? But not everyone has that reality. Some people are like, can't believe that I can't get my latte.
Yeah.
They're
annoying because it's like, okay, dude, like your foot hasn't been shot off. You're live.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Come on now. But I also think there's a difference. There's a difference between ignoring what's going on.
Right. Right. Because I don't want to minimize
what's happening, and we're like,
right.
That's not. We're very real people, and we live very real lives, and that's not the point. The point is you say, okay, there's shit's happening, and some of it's awful, and we have to all do our part to fix it, and we all do our part to fix it, and we all in our worlds and our spheres of influence do that. but then we also have to make sure we're putting back into the world something positive. Otherwise, all that will be left, like that means the shit's won, because now everyone's looking at the shit and only the shit.
Right.
Of course you have to, because then you have to fix the stuff. But like you have to look at the.
I think it was your friend Elizabeth Donaldson.
Mm-hmm.
She posted. Awesome. She said like it's our job to bring joy. Yeah. Like it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, we feel like it. Like it's our job to.
It's our responsibility.
Lift people up as as artists. It's our job to lift people up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's something. Yeah. That's something that I've talked about in the interview show with so many artists about how it's our responsibility to actually to create art and to actually raise the culture's spirits. You know, it is our responsibility. And it one of the things that we talked about earlier about people, you know, the artists that doesn't, you know, they don't want to go out there and they don't want to do the social media and they don't want to do certain things. You know, one of the things that I used to always say to them is like, you know, you're being selfish. You know, you have this incredible talent, and here you are not putting it out into the world when the world really needs it right now. You know, and so what I usually do if I get a negative thing, and again, I post on so many, you know, stuff daily that of course you're going to get a little bit of stuff back. But what I do is I double down. I go harder. You know what I mean? I go harder, and you'll see me post like 5 times more on that day, because I have to destimulate. I have to destroy that negativity, because it hit me, and if it's hitting me, it's probably hitting somebody else.
Yeah.
So we got to squash it. You know. So that's just my little soapbox.
Now there are times when I'm like, Greystarr, all I want to do is post pictures of the cracks in the pavement that look so pretty to me. I can't do it. And then she's like, come on. And then there are times when you're like, I want to close my personal page down. You need to tell me why I won't do it right now. I have my finger on the button. It's going away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a lot. But then we're like, okay, let's talk through
yoga.
How can we do it this way, and how can we do it that way? And
I haven't complained in a while about
that.
We figured out how to do it. We need to work on you.
I know, because I've been posting a lot of pavement pictures recently. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, what's funny is like we'll post this really artistic photo that we think is like the coolest thing ever, and it'll get like 50 likes. And then just post a picture of us like,
I know,
300. You know, it's like people don't want to see anything but our faces.
But we're also going to say that the algorithms of Instagram, and unfortunately, you have to like be constantly outsmarting what Instagram and Facebook has decided, or any social media platform has decided that everybody else wants to see,
and it changes all the time.
So we're like, okay,
just when you think you've got it down, nope, just kidding, it's changing tomorrow.
So then we're gonna be like, okay, one like this, and then one like this, and then one like this, and then one like this, like quicker.
Yeah.
Beat you.
So I wanted to talk about women in rock a little bit, because we were discussing that a little bit before we went on. Xavier says, "This is amazing." Thank you very much, Xavier. I appreciate you. So, you know, we were talking a little bit. I mentioned Pat Benatar because I grew up with Pat Benatar, and she's fantastic. And apparently, she's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is a travesty. Again, I don't even know if the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is really like something that we should even be like, oh, you know, I mean, it's not like, I don't really even care, to be honest with you. But the recognition, it just shows that there's a almost like a disconnect between like what respect they should give to, you know what I mean, to certain artists. And it happened with, like, you know, the band Rush, right? It's one of my favorite bands of all time. They were on the ballot 14 years.
Right.
14 freaking years.
Oh my God.
Before they got in. And that's why Alex Lifeson, when he got in, I don't know if you saw the speech, but he just went out and he went, blah, 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 for the whole speech. And then he turns around to get it. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And he the whole speech, and then he just walked off. And I was like,
Great.
at the end of it, it's sort of like, really now you're doing 14 years.
Yeah.
So, but moving into women in music now, you're saying women in rock, right? Because this is what
That's
right?
a genre. Yeah, that's a genre.
That genre, right?
There's not that many women that, well, in our orbit,
right? There's so many women rockers, musicians.
Yes,
right,
totally. But the ratio is very definitely like boys, girls, like very definitely. Even though there's a lot of us, there are so many boys.
Yeah.
Which is they're awesome and badass, and we love them, and so many of them are icons and our peers and stuff. But like, we definitely are the minority in the rock genre.
Yeah.
Now, could that be because, if you go back to like, I always say 1954, I would say like that's like the beginning of rock for like Elvis and stuff, and it was all guys.
Yeah.
In that all the way really until, I mean, who's the earliest rock female singer that you can? I mean, I throw Tina Turner in there because I love Tina Turner. She's not really rock, but
she is so rock, John.
She is rock, but you know what I mean. She didn't come from.
He said Tina Turner.
Oh, Tina Turner.
She became a rock goddess, though.
Right, but she didn't start out.
No.
She started out as an R&B kind of singer. The camera got a little soft.
I know, like what? It's because I put like
there you go.
filter on it. There it is. Okay.
There you go.
I filtered it for a minute. Okay. Joking.
So
I think there's some rock icons. Ron. Oh my God! No, I've forgotten her name.
Janis Joplin.
I was even thinking earlier than that. There's some 50s and 60s, but
like Ronnie Spector.
Ronnie Spector, thank you. But they were pop singers though. But they kind of reversed into rock and roll. But it wasn't until then you had all the stunning folkies in the 60s. But then it wasn't really until people like Janis Joplin that like really. And that the chicks in Jefferson Airplane stuff, Starship and all of that kind of section. And then when the Stones started bringing those amazing
the
backup singers and Give Me Shelter and all of that kind of stuff.
And Heart.
And then Heart. So it was kind of like the 70s, and then the 80s.
And then Blondie.
Then there was a whole thing started happening.
Right.
But again, if you look at like the charts and the rock charts, and it would just it's still definitely the minority. I think it's almost, I don't know, we could get into a whole social discussion about it, but we just know that whenever we see fellow female rockers, we're just like, yes,
we're
yes,
like,
woo!
Because you know how hard it is to be there.
Yeah.
And you're like, you too.
Give them so much love.
But it's also, I think, because you have to be a certain kind of woman to be in a room with guys for 20 hours or on tour with them,
or steel.
You have to be a certain kind of woman in the first place, and add on the musician part. It's like a very unique type of person that can even do it. So I think that narrows the numbers down even more.
That's true. And but it is also a wonderful but it is also a wonderful community, right? I mean, like you said, when you see someone, there's immediately an affinity for them because the struggles. It's sort of like I mean, I'm a blues guitar player, basically, right? So I'm not gonna go out and I can't play rock. You know what I mean? I can't. I mean, I could rock out if I needed to, but I'm really not gonna go out there and go. I don't know how to do that. But when I see another guy who's a blues guitarist, there's a high affinity suddenly, right? And we just want to start going, especially if they're knowledgeable. It's the same thing with the rock world, right? Like there's this real love of each other.
When
you get there, do you find it harder now that you guys are actually moving to get a bigger, to get it onto bigger stages because of being female rock singers?
I think it's
We were actually getting some really great momentum going, and then COVID happened.
I know. I'm sorry.
We had
amazing shows lined up, and then like,
well, they're still there. They're not going anywhere.
Our last show, actually, we opened for Tiffany.
Yeah.
As in, like, I think we're alone now. 80s pop star Tiffany, who's actually a rocker chick,
a full rocker.
She's like rocker. Her new album is like Alice in Chains meets Tiffany. It's amazing.
Amazing. The voice is outrageous.
And she toured the album, and we opened for her, and it was like a love fest. Like she loved us. She's like, do another song. We're like, oh my god, Tiffany said to do another song. We're gonna do another song.
Oh my god, so
it was just one of those things where like we had just met her, but we had this like connection because we're both female rockers on the same stage together. So it's just like an automatic, like, like almost like a sorority.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally. Totally.
But we had a bunch of other shows lined up at that venue for the whole year, and then
we'll get it back.
We'll get it back.
Absolutely. I'm gonna ask each of you this: one artist that you'd love to do a duet with.
You go first.
In time. Axl Rose.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. I love Axl.
David Bowie, except I think I would die.
Yeah, you would never make it through.
I just would be like,
yeah,
the whole time, and nothing would come out.
Have you been starstruck?
Have we been? I was just thinking of Eric Martin and the Pickles. You have a really great story. Have we been started? I had a very emotional reaction when I saw Robert Plant in performance. Wasn't meeting him. I just saw him in performance, and I like hysterically cried. I didn't know that was going to happen. I've had like those performances where it just moves you so intensely that your entire universe is shaken.
Yeah.
But starstruck, as far as like meeting someone and being like, oh my god, I can't talk. That's never happened. We're pros, man.
Yeah, we just like hey. Love your work.
But what has happened is we've met people who we've been like this, and then they end up being like hilariously funny or like so down to earth that you're like, oh, totally like regular person. Like Eric
Martin from
Mr. Big. Hilarious.
We sang on one of his shows. We were backup singers on his show, and that was like
he kept calling us like Kingston and Apple Jar. Like he would make up a every time he would announce us.
Yeah.
He's like, give it up for
it was great.
Sandstone and Lightning.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It was awesome. So that was a really fun show. But not starstruck, more like you're so cool.
Yeah.
Like you're so fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Lots of those moments.
Yeah, and I think that happens a lot to people who meet, like somebody that, oh my god, like they're realize, oh, you know what, it's just a regular guy. It kind of sucks if they were not nice, but generally when people get to that level, they're usually pretty nice, and maybe that's just me just wanting everyone to be nice, but I want everyone to be nice no matter what they do. So I just think that's the way happens a lot. I mean, I saw once. I saw Al Pacino twice, right? And I didn't get to meet him, but the first time I saw him, I froze. He was standing like literally a few feet from me, and he was just standing there, and I was like, I couldn't move. And then the second time I was in New York, and he had a play. I think it was China Doll, I think, or something, and I knew he was at that play, and there was a crowd gathering out front, and I had my camera with me. So I go to the corner and I get my camera all set up and everything. I put it on and I go. And I decided to just go in the middle of the street because I knew that there was too much of a crowd, and me being short, no way I'm going to get in there. So I was like, let me go to the street. So I went to the street, and there he was. He just came on, and I froze for like a second again, like an asshole. But I kind of like, and then I got the camera up, and I said, all right, Al. And he looked at me, he smiled, and I got a perfect picture. I have that. It's like, it was amazing. But yeah, I'm a big Al Pacino fan. And so that was like the only time that, because I've met other people and you meet them and you're like, oh, they're nice, they're cool, or or they're very private.
We both worked in the industry for a long time, both artists and production people, and we're both used to working with celebrities, and I think it changes your. Oh my God! I met Paul McCartney on the street once. I didn't meet him.
I didn't meet him. I tripped him by accident.
Well, I was on the Upper East Side and I was holding a coffee, which never happens. I had a Starbucks and a short flouncy skirt on, which also never happens.
Yeah, like, who are you?
When do I ever wear it? It was very hot. Okay. Do you drink hot? And when do I
like another personality there.
Tea all the time.
Such a jeans person. And so I'm holding, and it's like super windy. So I'm literally like walking down the street, like holding my skirt down with my tea like this. And I turn the corner and walk, and there is Paul McCartney in my face. And I'm just like,
oh my God.
And he's on the phone and he's like, looking at me like, you are in a pickle, mate. And then walked off. And that was with my knees tucked in and my hand on my crotch trying to stop.
So great.
My skirt going up. So anyway, that was the one awkward moment.
That's awesome.
We met Oz Fox
we did
Oz Fox from Striper.
Nice.
I think I may have been starstruck on that one. But you were like, come on.
And I hadn't seen him for a really long time, and I was like, he's not going to remember who I am. And then you're like, he has to. I need to meet him, so he has to
know who you are. Let's go.
And he was lovely. We were like, oh, hi.
We took a photo with him, and then
awesome.
So that was cool. It was good.
So Sean Manuel is reacting to you meeting Paul McCartney because he is literally a Beatles historian. Like
wow.
And actually, he was on my interview show, and we only talked about Beatles stuff because he had all this information that
from the time that Kingston and her skirt met Paul.
Right.
Add it into
your brain
the annals of Paul McCartney stories.
I love it. So let's talk about this new EP. And I want to talk about when you said like in did you say November? Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
It's really exciting.
You're both like, yes.
Well, there's been a snafu, but we're gonna just pray it all works out.
It happens. It happens. Currently, the state in which our CDs are being produced in is on fire. But I feel like that's very Glitterverse-y, though. It's like,
of course, it's on fire.
Like our CDs are being made, and it's
it's so
yeah,
it's majestic looking. I can totally see that.
Like
just November 6th.
November 6th.
Okay. Awesome. And how many tracks?
5.
Wow.
5 tracks.
Are we allowed to say the name of it?
Yeah, do it. Are you sure? No one knows. You are the debut.
It's called Kingston and Greystarr, Covered in Glitter.
Ooh.
And it's my 5 favorite covers.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Our version.
I get it. Covered
in our glitter.
I get
it. Sure. Covered.
I love it.
That we weren't going to release an EP. We were actually working on
our full
album, and then craziness happened, and we're like, sod it, let's do an EP now to do something great. And
yeah, I love it. And of course, literally burning.
That's what's happening right now.
Yeah. It's gonna be hot off the press. So I hope in November when it's out, y'all come back and we hear some. Do you mind if I play something from that's on your website?
Sure, go.
Is that cool?
What's it gonna be?
Playing?
I want to play Don't Change.
Yes, that was our first single and our first music video.
Cool. I love it. Let me I'm still learning all this stuff, so just bear with me here. But
also his wallpaper is really great.
His wallpaper is great, his hat's great, his shirt's great. I'm really feeling his outfit.
Yeah, feeling the vibe.
Thank you so much. All right, here we go. So here we are. This is oh, this is so good. I've seen this like 100 times.
Honey.
Oh yeah. Woo!
There's the unicorn.
Unicorns. Where's my hair? Oh,
Woo!
Awesome.
Yeah.
But my camera is done. You can't see me, can you?
No, what's going on with your cam?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Hold on one.
Oh, large.
Hi.
Hi.
All right. Well, my camera seems to have died, but anyway.
Loaded your camera. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You know what it is? It's just that the video was so hot And you also, how do you burn the circuit of my camera, which
like Oregon up in here. Sorry.
Yeah, it's really
oh, no. Sorry.
Nice.
Reference. CD reference. Call back. Call back. Oh my God.
So, I want to thank you both for being on. I just wish my camera would work. Let me see something.
Yeah, I feel like it should.
There is this tiny little
white dot
on the bottom.
Yeah, that's where the name goes, but I don't like to put my name down there. So, but it won't let you not put anything in there. So I just put my.
Dot. It's like the whole universe in a tiny little dot.
Nope.
No.
Nothing. We're just more gigantic.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm still here, and I want to thank you both for being on. Definitely November. We're looking forward to that. You know, we're really excited about. I just want to give an acknowledgement to Sean has given you a.
Woo! My in the screen. There we go. That is.
Yeah, there you go.
Woo! Sean. Okay.
So thank you so much for being on. We'll definitely do this again. Sorry my camera crapped out on me, but we will be back. And yeah, I hope you guys had fun tonight. I had a great time talking to you. You guys are just so freaking inspiring.
We had the best time.
We had a great time. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So don't go away. Hang out right there for a second. Thank you so much for being on. Ladies and gentlemen, Kingston and Greystarr. All right. And now I'm just by myself here. So now it's like dark. Hey, everybody. I turned off the lights in my house because I like to be romantic on Monday nights. And got myself a little drink here, listening to some Kingston and Greystarr. And but I guess I'll just show a picture of this. And this is what I look like with my head on. And this is what Kingston and Greystarr. I'm sorry that I look the way I look. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'll see you all on Thursday night. Take care of yourselves, and I will talk to y'all soon. Peace.